Realism is a genre of fiction in which the world described by the text resembles reality. Realism departed from the mid-19th century romance by joining with newly developed photographic technology in the attempt to capture an objective point of view of the real world. At the same time, many realist novels seek to create psychological depth through the depiction of a character's idiosyncratic consciousness and visual perception. Realism is invested in everyday experience and the difference found across social classes, most notably through vernacular language and the use of dialect to depict the lower and middle classes. In a classic essay from 1949, George Becker provides 3 criteria for American and European realism. The first, verisimilitude of detail derived from observation and documentation, an effort to approach the norm of experience, that is, reliance upon the representative rather than the exceptional in plot, setting, and character. Finally, an objective rather than subjective or idealistic view of human nature and experience. Emerson's Representative Men, a work singled out by F.O. Matheson as a key American Renaissance text, illuminates the 19th century transformation of the term representative. Representative men included biographical portraits of Plato, Montaigne, Shakespeare, Napoleon, and Goethe. For Emerson, these figures served as heroic models. By the late 19th century, the term representative was understood to depict members of the general population. It suggested a sense of everyday commonality. Becker's criteria were modified by other mid-20th century literary critics who argued that American realism is distinct from the European tradition. Lionel Trilling claims that reality in American realism is always material reality, hard, resistant, unformed, impenetrable, and unpleasant, while Donald Pizer finds American realism to achieve much greater diversity of subject matter and characters than is suggested by Becker's term, representative. While the mariners, castaways, and renegades of Moby Dick offer a great variety of diversity, these characters, like the majority of those found in American Renaissance novels, are emblematic rather than everyday. Chapters of this text, however, flirt with the realistic mode, most explicitly the famously descriptive and excessive passages of cetology, dedicated to the classification of whales. Leo Bersani is among the later critics who had returned the global scope to the discussion of realism. Bersani reads realist novels as essentially producing closure around a set of anarchic desires by ending with deaths and marriages, what Frederick Jameson sees as a solution or symbolic resolution to the tension between wish fulfillment and desire. These novels, for Bersani, offer an image of social fragmentation contained within the order of significant form. Amy Kaplan later extends Jameson and Bersani in seeing realists as actively engaged in a project to create reality. For her, the late 19th century realists adopted an aggressive and defensive literary stance towards a changing cultural scene and attempted to reconstruct what counted as real. Classic American realist texts include William Dean Howells's Hazard of New Fortunes, Rebecca Harding Davis's Life in the Iron Mills, Sarah Orne Jewett's The Country of Pointed Firs, and Mark Twain's Adventures of Huckleberry Finn.